It is Carlin here from May Blossom Design, and this week I am in full market prep mode. I am doing all of the market prep things, and I'm bored of it, to say the least. I want to be creative. I want to make something. I don't want to do that stuff anymore. So that's what this video is. We are going to be making a business card holder for my markets. Now, this market that I have is this weekend. So this will not be ready for the weekend, but it will be ready for the market that I do have in 1 month. So I'm going to make this today. I'm going to show you how I do it. I will say that this is not my idea. I have seen multiple artists do this online. So I cannot take credit for this design or this idea. I can take credit for what I'm going to make, but I can't take credit for the idea because multiple artists have been doing it. So I am going to make one, and I'm going to make it for myself, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to make it. So let's get started. You don't need too many things. I am going to use my mini wheel because I am going to stick with the mini theme. I do want to make a few mini pots that have little like naked butts because that's kind of my thing. My thing is like little naked butts on the bottom of cups. So that's what I want to do with some little mini vases to put on this business card holder. So yeah, let's get started. So first thing I'm going to do is I already rolled up my slab. Let me show you here. So I'm a little bit far away from you today, but unfortunately that's what we got. So that's what we're dealing with today. But I have already rolled out my slab. I rolled it to 7 millimeters thick. I've mentioned these before. I will link them in the description below. They work great. Because I just use a rolling pin because I don't have a slab roller because they're expensive. But I just use these rolling guides. They're great. I will link them in the description below, like I mentioned. But yeah, so basically what I'm going to do is I kind of want to make, I don't want to make a perfect circle or a perfect square or anything like that. I don't want that. I'm going to make it a little wonky, and maybe I'll even make 2. No, we're just going to make 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut my little pieces first, and then I'll know how much I have. So you obviously need one that sticks in the back, and then you need one that sticks a little bit shorter in the front so you can put your cards together. So let's just go like this. This one can be for the front. Now I did roll these, like I said, to 7 millimeters because I felt like I wanted it to be a little bit thicker and be a little bit sturdier so that there's less of a chance of it maybe warping, but we'll see. I'm going to let it dry pretty slowly. So and I think we'll just do a little bit taller for the back. Yeah, I can feel that that's pretty sturdy. So after I get these 2 pieces cut, sorry, you can't really see what I'm doing. They're not very thick. So after I get these 2 pieces cut, then all I'm going to do is just take my needle tool and I'm just going to make a little, maybe I will make 2. So all I did was I left the back straight and I made the front just a little wavy. Yeah, we will make 2, just in case one doesn't turn out. So then down here is where I will make my other pieces. Okay, so now you can probably see me a little bit better. All I'm gonna do is just take my piece here, line, and that's why I really like these drawing guides or these rolling guides because they work great. They work great for like a ruler type thing. They work great for lots of different things. So there's my 2 pieces, and now, just like before, all I'm gonna do is just go from this side and just create a little bit of a wavy pattern. There we go. So this one isn't quite as big, but that's okay. I'm gonna change the angle for you guys. Because yes, you can see me, but you can't really see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna just switch the angle up for you, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do with the pieces here. Okay, so in the meantime, I went and got my slip and some water and my scratcher and a brush. Now, basically, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna find a place where I just wanna attach these so that they're attached, basically. And I'm going, I don't know, no, we're gonna put them on top. So, we're just gonna take, and yeah, if you can't tell, I haven't made one of these, so I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. Going to cut the ends off of these. And they don't really, like, I don't think they need to be like the same size as like a business card. I do, however, want to make these the same size. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take some water and I'm just gonna really kind of smooth my edges. Make sure that they're nice and flat. And you can make these like, I think you can make these kind of however you want. Whatever kind of theme you want, kind of whatever. Okay. So now I'm just going to take my scratcher and I'm just going to scratch the back. I'm going to leave that big one for that one. Scratch the bottom, scratch this piece. I'm going to take, now because I really didn't let this like go leather hard or anything like that, I'm not too worried about how much slip I use because this is quite fresh clay. So I'm not too worried. But then I'm just gonna take it and attach it. You can see that. And then I just look at it from all sides and I just make sure that it's attached well. Just gonna add a bit of slip on the back. And then I will go in with my finger after. I'm also gonna add more slip around the front. Now you could go and you could add like a coil. You could put a coil in there if you wanted. I don't. I want the I want this type of a look. And I should mention this is Plainsman 340S. So this is the speckle. Okay. So that is all attached, and it just straight as I'm going to get it. I'm going to take one of the little pieces, and I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm just going to score the bottom. Now I'm not going, actually I'm going to make this a little bit smaller because I think if I put that, that's going to be too big. Yeah. So I'm going to only make it like that. And right here, I'm just kind of squaring off the edges. Oh yeah, I like that much better. Yeah, having a little smaller piece. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, I like having a little bit of a smaller piece. Okay, so then same thing, like I just said, score the bottom. You're going to want to score this a bit. I'm just eyeballing it because my philosophy is it's handmade. So if it's a little bit off center, it's still okay. So then we'll add it down here. I'm just going to go in with my slip, and I'm going to add it to all the little cracks. And I'm really just like pushing it into these cracks. You know what? I'm going to let this set up for a bit. We're going to make the second one. I'm going to let this set up, and then I will come back and I will show you sponging it off once it all is sponged off, what it looks like. So yeah, let's do the second one. I think these look great, but I am going to let them set up just a little bit before I start going in there with the sponge, just because I don't really want to mesh too much with them. But we will come back to that once they have hardened up just a smidge. So I'm just going to clean up. I'm going to get my little wheel ready. I'm going to get whatever I need ready for it. And then let's throw some itty bitty pots. Okay, so I have mentioned this before. I'm not an expert. So I am not an expert on anything to do with pottery, but I do like to experiment. And I had actually originally bought this mini wheel for my daughter for Christmas last year, I think. So this is the Vigor mini wheel. I'm not sponsored. I bought this with my own money, so this has nothing to do with them. But it is a cute little wheel. It is kind of loud, I won't lie. And you definitely can only throw teeny tiny things on here. It doesn't like anything large, that's for sure. Any large amount of clay, it likes just a little bit. Like when I say a little bit, I want to say that these are like, I don't know, like maybe like a quarter of a pound. I'm not throwing with very much clay here. And but it is a good little wheel, and it's fun, and it's easy to use. It's it's easy to clean. It's just a cute little wheel. But when you're throwing mini pottery, it is very similar to large pottery, but you definitely have to adjust yourself because you have to use your fingers more so than, like, I do try to use the palm of my hand to try to really get it centered, but it definitely can be difficult. So you just have to play around, and that's part of the fun with pottery, I guess. I do plan on doing a little bit better video with mini pottery, with maybe a more like me actually talking when I'm throwing type of video. But for the purpose of this video, I just decided to voice over because it was just easier for me at the time. But yeah, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a couple pots. I did decide to make these business card holders kind of seasonal so that we can interchange them like throughout the seasons, wherever, if I do markets other places or different times of the year, that I can just kind of adjust. I can just adjust what I'm making or what I'm putting on my business card holder for wherever I am or whatever I'm selling or whatever. So I did decide to make a couple Christmas trees, and this is just me throwing the Christmas tree. Super simple. Yeah, it's just a really simple little fun idea. And like I said, I do plan on making a video with mini pottery that'll probably be more so like for Christmas ornaments type of thing. But that's at a later date because I am busy getting ready for this last market that I have before Christmas. So I need to work on that. But anyway, this is how I made my little mini pots. And yeah, as soon as these are done, then we're going to get ready for the next step. These have set up just a little bit. So what I'm going to do, so my idea is basically to make these like seasonal. So I'm going to make them so that they can be interchangeable for whatever season I'm going to. If I'm going to a fall one, I'm going to make a pumpkin. I didn't make a pumpkin on this one because pumpkin season will have passed by the time I do my next market. So I'll just bypass that for now. But I can make a pumpkin. Or for springtime, I have vases, as you saw me make. And I'm also going to make, like you saw me make, Christmas trees. So that when I go to this market in a month from now, so in November, I can have Christmas trees on there. So anyway, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. And it's super easy. I don't know that I'm going to trim all of these little pots with you. They're kind of tedious, but I mean, they're going to get a very minimal trim, very minimal. They're essentially just going to get a smoothing of their little bottoms. And then I'm going to show you how I'm going to make the hole for what I'm going to use. I'm going to show you what I'm going to use. So first, let's give these a little cleanup, and then I will show you how they look. So I made them so I made two of them. So this one is a little bit off center, but as you can see, your cards will go in between here and quite a few can fit in there, but they're off center so that I can have something sit here or sit here. And I'll show you that when I get them all finished up and how I'm going to finish them. But yeah, so I'm just going to clean it up. I think in hindsight, I should have probably smoothed these pieces out before I attached them. Because now, like, not that I'm not going to get a smooth finish, I will. But I just think that I probably would have saved myself time. Okay. So that one is all smoothed out. These are not quite dry enough. So I am just going to leave them for a few more minutes, and then I will, then I will come back and I will show you how we're going to finish this before we can put these in the kiln. it's been a few minutes later. What I ended up doing is I ended up just trimming the bottoms of all these little mini pots. And basically all I did was just skim off the little piece and give it a sponge. So, pardon me, nothing crazy, nothing too intricate, super easy. What I want to do is, so like on this one, because I made it uneven, I want to put, say, the big Christmas tree here, the medium size one there, and the little bitty one right there. Can you see that? And then your business cards still have more than enough room to fit in here, whether you have square or you have rectangle, whatever you have, they should still fit. So, and same goes with the vases. If I want to add vases, I'm going to add the vases. So what my plan is I have these little mini magnets. They're just like, I don't know. They're not very big. They're teeny tiny. So I have these little sculpting tools, which is what I used also to clean the bottoms of these. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, because this is the same circumference if I twirl it around and make a circle as my magnets, and it's just a little bit bigger. So with shrinkage and all that kind of stuff, when you put it through the kiln, when I make this little magnet in the middle, it works perfect. So all I do, and I know we're a little bit far away, but that's what we got. All I do is put this in the middle and I twist. And I think they're like 1 millimeter thick, these magnets. So they are not very big. They're not very thick, so you don't have to make this very deep. But I just like to make it a little bit recessed, only because then it just doesn't stick out as much. Well, that I sure didn't make that very straight. And by stick out, I mean like the magnet doesn't stick out as far as it sits flush. And I don't really care if it's right in the middle either. That doesn't really bother me, but just like that, a little hole right in the bottom. And then I'll do that for all of these. And then I'm gonna do the exact same thing on this piece. Now, I know that I want, say, the little one's gonna go here, big one, medium. I'm gonna put them kind of in the middle of where I want the areas to be, whether I do it with the little trees or the little vases, whatever. It's so that no matter what I put there, I'll have a magnet that will attach, and then I can just interchange whatever. So I'm going to quickly do that, and then I'll show you what I mean. Now the base, I'm going to take a little bit more care of what it looks like, because in case I decide not to put something somewhere, I'm going to have to look at that magnet. So I don't want this big gaping gross looking hole. I want it to look nice and flush and even. And now, because I don't want to be stuck with Oh, I haven't even opened these. Because I don't want to be stuck with things that don't fit. I can also link these magnets down in the description below as well. But I'm just going to take my magnet and like, see, they're super tiny, really itty bitty. And just put them down. Yeah, they need to be bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna make these a little bit bigger. I'll come back and I'll show you what they look like. So anyway, I have finished putting the holes. So there are the holes in that one. The other one, same thing, it just has 2 holes. All of my little pieces have magnet spots. I think the little trees, they all have little magnet spots so that in the next part, I can show you how I attach the magnets, how we're gonna glaze them, the funnel reveal, all that kind of good stuff. And hopefully by then I'll also have business cards because right now I don't have those either. So these have been in the kiln. I bisqued them to cone 04, which is 1945 degrees Fahrenheit. And they all came out great. So now it's just time to glaze. I'm not doing anything super crazy with the glazing. Both bases, because I did make 2 holders, both bases are going to be in Amico's Snow, and I'll be doing 3 coats of that on each piece. And I can't remember if I mentioned before, but I did these in Plainsman 340S, so they do have the speckle. So I find that Amico's Snow is the absolute most beautiful white glaze if you only want just white with showing the speckle. I think it works perfect. So I am doing 3 coats of Amico's Snow on both of the bases, and then we'll move on to the little pots and things like that when I am done with the base. So I decided to use Nori Green for all 3 of the little Christmas trees. Nori Green is a spectrum floating glaze, and these trees have just a tiny bit of texture on them. And I find that floating glazes, they break over texture really well. So I thought these would probably go pretty well with that. I do wish that when I was doing this, I would have maybe done one of the Christmas trees in a different color, but I did all 3 in the same color. So all 3 have 2 coats of Spectrum's Nori Green. And then for the rest of the pots, I just used a combination of different Spectrum glazes. I think I had Sunrise, Papaya, Morning Glory, Fuzzy Peach, and I think that's it. I think I used those ones. Anyway, Spanish Moss as well. And I wish when I was glazing these, I was in like a zone. As you can see, my table is full. It is full of different things that I'm working on, full of different glazes. And at the time when I was glazing these, I was glazing full pieces. And I think I had mentioned at the beginning of this video that I wanted to do some with like drippy bits. Yeah, I totally forgot when I was glazing these. So unfortunately, all these pots have just 2 coats of a single color. But I think that they probably will still turn out great, but there will be no drippy butts. So the next time I make mini pottery, I am hoping that I remember to make some drippy pots because I totally forgot this time. But anyway, they still worked out great. Like I said, I did 2 coats of each floating color on each mini pot. So the rest of the mini vases or mini pots, I did 2 coats of each of the Spectrum's glazes. So after that, all of these pots, I'm going to be putting them into a glaze fire, and they will be done to pretty much a cone 6. I fire to 2190, then I do a 9-minute hold, and then I slowly drop to 1900, and I do a 30-minute hold. And that usually gives me between a 5.5, like a hot 5, and just about a perfect 6. So I call that like a 5.5, but that's what I will be firing these to. And as soon as I am done firing, then I will pull them out and we will do the final step, which is attaching the magnets and showing you the final product. So as soon as we're done that, I'll bring you back and I'll show you the final product and the last step. Okay, so our pots, well, yeah, our pots and our Christmas trees and our little stands have come out of the kiln and I think they look great. So here is our little bases. I think they turned out great. I already put the magnets on the bases because I will say that when you are using this glue that I'm using, and you can use whatever glue you want, but this glue in particular, when you're using it on a non-porous surface, so these bases are non-porous because they are glazed, they take quite some time for the glue to cure. It's not an instant stick or anything like that, so you do have to give it some time. So that's why I gave these a few minutes, or quite a while for them to cure. But then did we have our little pots? And I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you them all, but I don't know. There's 3 of them. So we have Fuzzy Peach, Morning Glory, and Spanish Moss over here. And then we have our Papaya and our Sunrise. Let's see if it'll focus. There we go. So this is Sunrise and this is Papaya. And then we have our 3 little trees. So yeah, I think these turned out really great. And yeah, now we need to just put on the magnets. So I am using the Gorilla Glue and these itty bitty magnets. And if I can find them, I will link them down in the description below. But I can't remember if I bought them on Temu or Amazon. I'll be honest, I don't know where I got them. One of the 2. But yeah, so another thing to remember when you are putting on the magnets, I made a mistake on this one. So one magnet is going one way and one magnet is going the other way, which is my own fault. But now I just have to remember that one of these pots I have to put on the wrong way so that it attaches to my piece. Yeah, because you know, if you put a magnet the wrong way, it's not going to attach, right? Yeah. Anyway, that was my mistake. So let's get started. So I'm just going to make sure, oopsies. There. Okay, so that means that this bottom has to go on the bottom of the pots. So the top has to be. So just keep that in mind when you're doing it. And I just put just a little dab like that. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just a little dab. And then I put it on my pot. It's that simple. And if you find that you don't have enough glue, like this one has a little bit of a deep pocket, so I'm just going to add a touch more. Because you just want to make sure that there's good contact. And that's all it is. So I'm going to do that with all of the pieces. Now, these ones that obviously you can't stand upside down, I do just set them right down on themselves. As long as there isn't a whole bunch of glue that like comes out so that it sticks to the table. And you also have to keep in mind as well that you don't put your pieces too close together when they're drying, because the magnets will find each other if you use these types of magnets, because they are super strong. So they will find each other. So you need to keep that in mind, that you need to keep them a little bit away from each other. Otherwise, you will have a problem. This one has just a touch too much glue, Plus I also want to clean the end of my glue off. There we go. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to leave that just like that. And we will be back as soon as they are dry and I will show you what they look like. So these have fully cured. It is the next day. Like I did mention, they do take a long time to dry when they're on a non-porous surface, which, like I mentioned before, these are glazed, so they are obviously non-porous. These don't take as long because they're porous, so they cure much faster, like within a few hours, more so than 24 hours. If you can hear the clicking, my kiln is running, so I'm doing this as quickly as possible. So let's go ahead and put on our pieces. So our little Christmas trees. And there we go. How cute are those? And look at that. I think, oh wait. Like, how cute are those? I think they are so cute. I am working on a new logo, so I don't actually have my forever business cards, but these are my old ones, so you can see that they totally work. They fit great. Even if you did have rectangle ones, they would totally still fit in here. Yeah. I think this was such a fun little project. I'm so excited to use these at my next market. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I think these turned out so cute. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Have you made something similar to this? Or is there something that I could do maybe to improve on them? But I think they're pretty cute. I don't know. I do wish that I would have remembered the little drippy bits on the pots, because that totally is my thing. I love the drips. I love the movement of things. So I wish I would have remembered that, but that's okay. It's just an excuse for me to make more mini pots, which I do want to make a video. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I get time and I will make a mini video about mini pottery. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. And then don't forget to hit the notification button so that you never miss when I'm creating something, so that we can make something together. Otherwise, I will see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.